everybody. Welcome back. We are making it through today. This is the Black Men Talk Tech Unicorn Ambition Conference. Truly happy to have you all here. It's truly an honor for us to speak to our next guest here. I'm a very, very big basketball fan, so this means a lot to me. But we have former NBA player Cuttino Mobley with us. So Cuttino, appreciate you being on here, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Took me a little while to get set up. I'm not as tech savvy. Maybe that's why I'm on here. I can learn more.
It's all good, man. We're like maneuvering through like 8 different platforms. Like, is it Zoom? Is it Google Meet? Is it StreamYard hopping? So I'm with you, brother. I started out today on mute and didn't even realize it. So
well, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But no, man, I'm super familiar, with your NBA career. But if you just kind of want to take us to the beginning, and you can touch on that. But then I'm always excited to see kind of like what goes on beyond basketball in an individual's career, man. So just familiarize the audience with who you are.
Yeah, my name's Cuttino Mobley. I played 11 years in the NBA. It was a journey for me. I started out. I'm from Philadelphia. Philadelphia, you learn how to box first before you anything, even before you how to walk. So, went from boxing to football, did really well in football. And then I transitioned to basketball. And I picked the basketball up around 13 years old. So I was a pro playing with pros at 18, 19. So it was, they threw me in the fire early. So it was a lot of struggle early on because it was guys like Kobe Bryant or Rasheed Wallace, Alvin Williams, Eddie Jones, this goes on, Aaron McKee. A lot of those guys been playing since they were really young. I'm talking about 6 or 7 years old. So I had to catch up fast. So I learned a lot from those struggles. I learned how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations and how to fastly think. I try to tell my kids that today about critical thinking, right? When you're in the moment, to think fast and be patient when you think and to accept those feelings. And then I went to University of Rhode Island, played there 4 years. I got drafted to the Houston Rockets. So one of my role models was Scottie Pippen. And it just so happened that he was at Houston at the time. So I had Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, and Hakeem Olajuwon. If people don't know, they're amazing people, amazing players. And they taught me a lot within that 1 year. And from then on, I use a lot of, not only my childhood, but I use a lot of what they did to keep themselves ready to play the game mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I applied it to my life. Within no time, I made our rookie team. My second year into the league, I lost, and I was second in 6-man voting, and I just played well from there. So, a lot of that for me, a lot of it's, people say it's luck because, so many kids my age, younger, older, that wanted to go to the pros. And I think there's an author named Malcolm Gladwell. He speaks about, the 10,000 hour theory. And especially if you're around a certain group. And my group was like I said before, Kobe Bryant, Rasheed Wallace, Alvin Williams, Aaron McKee, Eddie Jones, Rick Brunson. It was Jason Lawson. It was so many guys that were pros. And we didn't know we were pros. We were kids at the time. So all of us had that energy that was flowing through each other. And it just so happened that every single one of us went to the pros. So, I was fortunate enough to be, raised in Philadelphia and to be able to have that many greats surrounded around me to make me become what I am.
That is an awesome group of friends to just kind of start with, right? Yeah. No, that's really cool, man. And I didn't know the football tidbit. What position were you?
I was quarterback and wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what year did you retire from the league?
2009 is when I stopped playing. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a sudden situation. It was a misdiagnosis, but by that time, it took about 2 years to find it out. And I was in my 11th year. So my draft class was the Mike Bibby's, Paul Pierce's, Vince Carter's, Dirk Nowinski's of the world. And leading up to that year, I was top 5, top 6 in points. I think as far as my class. So I had to take a halt. They stopped me for a minute, and by that time, getting back in, I was about 33, and it wasn't for myself or the NBA to even continue.
Yeah, no, you had a great career, man, and I think sometimes in athletes' case, it's just like what happens next? Like, what do I do? What do I do now? And for you, I mean, it seems like it was really just the beginning, So tell us a bit about what you've kind of done from 2009 on, and just taking on new ventures in the world of business, and also too, like, what did you learn, like, from the game of basketball, like just those principles that you apply to like how you run business now?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because me growing up, I never thought I was going to be a basketball player. I have a lot of famous people in my family, but that's not something I looked at when I was a kid. I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to wear the cool suits and have the big office and make deals, and I just didn't know how to do it. Right? Wasn't nobody in my family that were business. I guess had big buildings to go into and have these big offices and wear the suits. And my stepfather was a hustler, and he ran his own stores, things that he did. But as far as that corporate world kind of thing, that entrepreneurial kind of thing, my stepfather had that in him. But as far as that next level, I didn't really get to see it as much. And watching TV and wishing I was there. When you're younger, you're like, that's my house or that's my car, those type of things. So I think for me, in 2009, I studied it in 2008, but in 2009, I jumped into the cannabis world, and I was one of the first ones to do that. And we did fairly well as a company. I got some guys that knew the lingo and talked the lingo that were on Wall Street, and at the time it was frowned upon, and now you see it's booming and it's blowing up. So we did well in that, and it's progressing still to this day, and it's still in the seed, kind of like, no pun intended, it's in that seed level, right, where it hasn't even blossomed yet. But it's an amazing product, an amazing business to be into. I just studied, I guess, prohibition and kind of, life is a cheat sheet, nothing's new. It's just, recycled. So once you really pay attention to that, that's what I did with the cannabis space, kind of paying attention to laws and, who's going to do this and what's going to do that. And once I kind of grasped that, I brought my guys in that I know that can take it to another level. And, it's been successful ever since. But, for me, I just I'm like a serial investor, right? I sometimes I swing for the fence, and I get, my butt handed to me. But I think that's from the mentality I had having to catch up in basketball, right? So in the business world, there's no different than basketball. If practice was we have practice at 3:00 after school. I mean, I'm practicing before school starts. Then I'm in school, and then I'm going after school. I'm practicing again. And then I'm going at nighttime and I'm shooting free throws. So I'm practicing 3 times a day, where everybody else maybe I'm doing once and hanging with their girlfriends or their guy friends and wasting time. I'm trying to get to the next level. So in business, I take the same, perspective where, you see The Rock, you see Mark Wahlberg, you see Kevin Hart, you see a lot of these different guys, billionaires. It's like, it's not overnight. For me, I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every single morning. I'm going to bed at 9:30. What else is there to do?
Yep.
So now I'm on the internet, I'm on my phone, I'm here and there, and I'm watching, I'm reading, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. Even if I bump my head, I have to put myself in a very vulnerable position, and put it this way, in a very uncomfortable position right now. So later on, I'm comfortable and uncomfortable. So I just take the same traits I did at basketball, and I exhaust myself. Some things I don't know, and coming from a neighborhood and in a city, and in a household where financial literacy wasn't our first language. So I have to learn it on the stride. I remember one time I lost $4 million in 2 years, and it hurts. But at the end of the day, if you're ambitious and you have drive, right? I think you can get through those things, because money is just money, right? Like, you just have to, you can spend money, but as long as you know how to make it, right? And sometimes making it takes a little longer after you spend it, right? But at the end of the day, having those different types of, I guess you want to call discipline, right? That character, I think, for anybody, you succeed. But if you're just watching what someone else does, I think that's where the passion leaves you, because it's not really your true passion. My true passion in anything is learning. So the more I can learn, the more the sponge I am, the more I just like, okay, and now I'm going to get creative, just like basketball. So I take a lot of basketball into my daily practice, and I kind of implement all those things to become the successful person.
It's cool to see a lot of the concepts that you're talking about like really resonate with us as founders. Like you talk about like Scottie Pippen being your guy. Like that's like in business, we always try to find our mentors. Like who knows this? Like who's seen the roadmap of whatever our project is. Who can peer around the corner and be like, don't do that because that's gonna happen.
Right.
So I think those things are all relative. We actually yesterday we did a tech and hoops event. Nobody was able to drop buckets like you could, but we had a good run. We did it here in Miami. It was pretty fun, man. We had to gotta get you out there next time.
Yeah, for sure. I have no problem coming to Miami.
Yeah, man, it was a good time. And you talk about things that you kind of just, you were ahead of the curve on the medical marijuana space, but also, we had a chance to wrap before this, and you were telling me about some of the things you've done in Africa, which I feel there's tremendous opportunity too there to just kind of connect with some of our brothers from the motherland. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, back in 2009 also, that's when I was real bullish, and I was just like going after everything. And I was very curious about Africa and never being there. One of my good friends, who's a business partner to this day, he's from Ghana, and he's from Takrady. And whether it's gold, oil, you name it, they have access to all those type of things, especially back then, and Sierra Leone. So I did a fundraiser with a woman named Tiffany Persons and Uncle Russell Simmons. And at that time, this is back 2008, I think it was, or 2009, and it was an amazing event. It was for the kids in Sierra Leone, in West Kono. So I said, you know what? Listen, let's do a little school. Let's do a, recreation center. Let's do that. And then I fell in love with it. When I go over there, in Ghana, Sierra Leone, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. The energy, I can't explain it. You have to be in Africa yourself and literally put your feet on the soil and really feel. There is no worries, right? And I'm very attached to my children, right? I have two boys and a girl. She's the youngest. She's 8 years old. And I'm very, very codependent of my kids, right? So I love my kids so much. But when I'm in Africa, I feel at peace for whatever reason it is, right? I haven't really dove into that, but it's just like it feels like you're home. So in being there a numerous amount of times, the people are so amazing and so selfless and so like it's hard to explain the energy that you feel when you're there. So I said, you know what, let's take a step farther. Let's start investing in here and there and just doing this. And so we're in the oil and gas business, and we're trying to create more schools and recreation centers and things like that. And the NBA just partnered out there now, so it's the NBA Africa. So they're trying to expand that. So I'm kind of like the foreseer, right? I see things before it happens, kind of thing, I guess. But it's just amazing, man. To the perception that I guess media portrays on any type topic or subject. And then once you are in front of that person or a certain situation, you're like, wow, it wasn't like that, or you're not like that, or this, that, whatever. So, I love being over there. I love helping people. And, again, that's one of my passions. So, I tell anybody who's young or who's entrepreneurial, who's struggling at the moment, as long as it's your passion, you're supposed to feel those things, right? Like I love basketball so much. It was my passion. So me spraining my ankle, me getting up super early, me, losing the game, that's a part of the love, right? It's just, it does that to you. And if you fall in love with that process and accept the feelings that come with that process, whether it's fear, anxiety, happiness, whatever it is, I think you get farther in life. And I take that same thing, like I said before, and I put that into business and know that when I'm doing something that not only am I interested in it, but do I love it, right? So I think that's what gets me to where I need to be.
What's I found most dope about our initial convo too was that when you like explain who you are, you don't say I'm a former NBA player, you don't say I'm a current entrepreneur. Like you really make sure that you emphasize you're a father. And as entrepreneurs, we our lives are so crazy where it's like sometimes like we put 90% of our time into the business, that like that 10% or 100% of the time into the business that like family gets overlooked. So with you having like so many things going on, you know, just how do you maintain that balance? I mean, I think, you know, we only have so much time left here, so I want to make sure that we really emphasize like that, you know, that family first mentality, which I think is really dope. Like, how do you maintain a healthy balance as a father and entrepreneur?
Yeah, you know, listen, man, like I said before, it's one of my passions, right? And maintaining it for me is just being present when it's time, right? So when my son's doing soccer, I'm present. I'm not on my phone. When my daughter's in that dance class or she's painting, I'm painting with her or making slime, even though I'm not a slime person. I don't like it. I got to clean it up. We both do. But it's just those moments, right? They don't last forever. So, you know, I think in being a father or being a mother, I think it's not only providing for them, but it's providing for yourself so that they can see that, because they mimic, right? Not what you say, but what you do. So for me, it's like, how can I be the best Cuttino Mobley I can be while I'm on earth, right? So I search for that every single day. I study every single day. My daughter knows and my sons know, like, my dad's always making it happen. My dad's always reading. My dad's always doing this. And my dad is up early. My dad is working out. My dad is, and like, they see that and they see the loves and the kisses, because in our household, like, before you leave me, there's kisses and there's hugs and there's I love you, right? And we don't say bye. Bye means forever. Where I say see you later, right? So you know, bringing those type of characteristics inside of your children, so they can give it to their friends, and when they get older in their family, I think that's the most important thing for me, is making sure that I'm the best version of myself, and being open minded, for those out there and for my children, right? So they can know they're like, my dad. Wow, he's, you know, I want them to be able to say, like, my dad's like, he's a good guy, man. He's a really good guy. You know, like that feeling that you have when you know someone spiritually is there. So, you know, and my kids see that, and I'm glad, I'm blessed to have them with me. Hey, listen, I'm blessed for them.
Absolutely, man. With speaking of blessings, man, we're truly blessed to have you here. I mean, it's really inspiring to hear your story. I always like I always admire the athlete like foray into entrepreneurship, just because like you were talking about, there's just certain principles that to exceed in one thing at a high level, it's not as much difference as people think to just take those same type of principles into something else. Maybe you may not have the physical capabilities in the world. You know, I'm not a lefty. You know, you know what I mean? Like, my jumper's okay, but it's not Cuttino level. But like I know that, like, you know, you said you like to learn. You know, I mean, you mentioned some great art, some great authors. Like, I read Malcolm Gladwell too. You know, Tipping Point, Blink, all great books. You also mentioned before Eckhart Tolle, New Earth. That book changed my life.
Yes.
You know, and like we all have access to these similar tools. So like there's definitely blueprints out from us, and we can all just kind of, you know, like learn from one another. So I mean, just to the audience that's here, I mean, do you have any, like, you know, additional like words of wisdom to leave them with? They're hanging on to your every word, man.
Yeah, no, man. Listen, man. I think whatever you do, be in love with it, right? Like, life is, we only get one, right? And that's all we know, right? Quality, it means like doing it right when no one else is looking. Like, you have to. You can't cheat yourself. You can cheat everybody else, but when you go and brush the teeth in the morning, like, did I do that right? You know, like, do it the right way all the time, right? Because listen, my dad used to tell me, listen, man, if you tell me the truth, I got your back. I don't care what it is. And when I say that, I mean, tell yourself the truth.
Yep.
Give yourself everything. Give it all you got, whether it's basketball, football, lawyer, doctor. Give it everything you have. Give it. So then now when you give it, guess what? The story will be the same. It will be so passionate. They will feel it. But if you're lying about it, you won't feel good telling the story. It doesn't feel right. They won't even resonate with that. Right. So I think, you know, just be passionate about it. Accept the process. Right. And be okay with failure. Be okay with being scared. Be okay with anxiety. Be okay with these things. The normal feelings. Right. No one successful has never not felt those things. Right. So it's okay to feel that, man. And it's nice to have all types of anxiety and I mean, Kobe, Ray Allen, all of us. You get to that point, but then you get to a point where you're comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
I love that, man. So the things to end with is stay uncomfortable, keep moving. Cuttino, brother, I truly appreciate you doing this with us, man. If we, I want to make sure that, we keep you abreast of the things that we have going on, and just kind of, welcome you into this world of tech. We got a lot of things in common, man. So I really, really appreciate you for this. Everybody that's listening, stay tuned. We have pitch competition. Cuttino, you're more than free to just you come on the other side as a guest and listen to these amazing contestants. They're competing for $25,000.
Nice.
The pitch competition sponsored by MasterCard, Square, and done in partnership with the Stephen Marjorie Harvey Foundation. So we got that coming up. But again, Cuttino, thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.